I've never done this before, so it might be a little bit choppy. I try to cut down 3 hours of me ranting to my camera, and I'm a little bit dramatic and I have a little motivational speech moment. I definitely also do generalize. Everything that I say is an opinion, but I could have said some things a little bit better, but it's okay. Um, Friendly reminder that you can increase the speed of the video if you want to hear me talk faster. Just a suggestion. Do what you want with that information. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, enjoy. I don't know. I don't really know where to start with this. I just have a lot of things that I really want to talk about and that I want to say that have kind of just been building up inside of me, and I need to get it out. Hopefully it comes out in the right way. Hopefully I'm able to form coherent sentences that actually make sense and articulate my thoughts well enough, because that doesn't always happen. But I'm gonna quickly introduce myself before I start talking and never stop. My name is Sky. I'm 20 years old. I grew up in Orange County, California, and I moved to Amsterdam almost 2 years ago to study sociology. I'm a big learner. I'm very interested in all things nutrition, health, fitness, and although that doesn't directly align with the bachelor's degree I'm pursuing in university, I do think it has definitely broadened my perspective on health culture and changed the way I approach my own health and my personal relationship with my body in many ways. Last year I got certified as a personal trainer, but I will not be training anybody or coaching anytime soon. And I also post on Instagram sometimes, just sharing things I learn as I learn them and posting my experience and my fitness journey. I'm just kind of trying to be a positive person on social media and clear the noise a little bit, make health not feel as difficult or threatening. I want to encourage more people to pursue a healthy relationship with fitness and food. I want to advocate for health as a form of empowerment. I'm basically pro heavy lifting, pro fueling and nourishing your body, pro prioritizing your mental health, doing exercise that you enjoy, and doing the things that make you feel good. That's what I think health is about. I'm definitely anti-diet culture, anti-body trends, anti-food restriction, anti-over-exercising, anti-guilt and shame cycles, anti so many other things. And although I've only been on this planet for a short 20 years and probably been interested in taking care of my health for less than 3, I've already been there. I've done the diets, I've done the over-exercising, I fell for the fear-mongering, and I ended up pretty miserable, confused, and honestly hated my body and was pretty mentally and physically sick. And I don't think, and I know that my experience is not an uncommon one, and a lot of people have and are dealing with similar things. And I just want to talk about my experience and help anybody in any way that I can. Reclaiming my health was probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done. And in so many ways, I feel like I'm actively still doing it, that I'm actively still trying to unlearn and relearn all of the messages that I've internalized about my body and the way that I should be eating and the way that I should be exercising and the type of goals that I should pursue and why and who I should look like, and discipline and beauty and hustle culture. The most valuable takeaway that I have from what I've been through so far is the importance of unlearning information. We don't have full control over the messages and what we're exposed to all the time, and I think the aspect of unlearning is a really underrated part of health. The ability to unlearn and the ability to pick and choose what kind of information applies to you, what kind of information serves you, how you can use it, what you don't need. Talking about social media specifically, especially when it comes to depictions of health and health behavior, and also the kind of people that we put in the spotlight. Just health demonstrations in general are not accurate, they're not realistic. It is selective what people choose to share online. So while I kind of resent social media in that way, my personal aim on it is to speak more about my personal experiences and hopefully encourage people to kind of reclaim control of their health and redefine it on their own terms. I also have so many complaints about the fitness industry specifically, which I think most people are very, very unaware of. The structure of everything and how it all works, and how capitalism literally dominates the messages that you are seeing, and social media in its entirety, the structure of it, the way people engage with it, the influencers, and how everybody is trying to sell you something. It's so normal that we don't even really think about it or question the strategies that people are using, but oh, it makes such a big difference. Oh, it matters so much. Because of social media, we all think that we need to look and act and consume in a certain way, especially when it comes to fitness. Being on Instagram and having somewhat of a platform, I also find it really, really difficult and frustrating trying to engage with a community that just wants to be told what to do in the quickest way possible. From what I've observed online, people almost always want answers and solutions that don't require effort and change that doesn't require action. And so many of the messages that I receive are from people who are really struggling to get a grasp on their own health, whether they're aware of their issues or not, but are feeling absolutely powerless to change. They're so lost, especially with like the fitness and nutrition noise, that they just don't know what to do anymore. I totally, absolutely resonate with that. And unfortunately, while I do believe it is your responsibility to find your way out of the holes that you've fallen into, I also totally empathize with the fact that it's not entirely your fault. No one's really taught how to figure out what's credible and what's not. We have more accessible information than ever, and yet more and more people are insecure about their health. People are getting more anxious and more confused about how to live genuinely happy, meaningful, healthy lives. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you are not working on it if there is no action involved. Now, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a hardcore fitness guru, and I'm not going to tell you that you're not getting where you want to be because you don't want it bad enough and you're not trying hard enough, because I think that is a atrociously incorrect message to send. No one is pathetic for feeling lost, especially in the light of all of the health and fitness noise in our society. I think it's really understandable. I think it's super valid to be confused right now. I really do. And I also just wanted to mention before I get into everything else that I'm not here trying to speak from a high horse or imply that I'm better than anyone else or that I know better, because honestly, I really don't. I'm doing my best. And while I don't know a lot, I am unlearning and relearning one thing at a time. I want to make it clear that everything that I say is an opinion or my interpretation of ideas and information that already exists out there. It doesn't make anything that I say the ends all be all. I don't want it to ever come off that way. I'm just here because I'm passionate and I want to contribute to the discourse. I think we need to teach each other how to be excited to learn again and unlearn again. You get to define what health means to you, and I think we are too often being told what to do and how to act instead of actually taught how to feel, taught why we're doing what we're doing. I really wish more people knew that being healthy and feeling good could be as simple as getting outside more or expressing more gratitude or reaching out to a friend. Feeling good isn't about the way that your body looks, it's about your ability to love the way that you feel in it. That's what health is. I have so many things that I want to talk about, so here are all the things that I'm probably not supposed to say, but that I want to talk about. Dear fitness community, dear everyone that is interested in their health and taking care of their body. I think we have health really confused. We are becoming so desensitized to harmful messages that I think we collectively lack a critical awareness and should be challenging the rhetoric and mainstream discourse. I think I want to start with talking about the idea, this like facade of acceptance and idea of inclusivity, that I think it's much more like a necessity for political correctness than it is actually true. And this goes for body acceptance, gender acceptance, cultural acceptance. Women are encouraged to lift, but often with the intention of getting toned or staying lean or achieving this ideal physique, which means curves but only in the right places, putting on muscle but not too much muscle, because then it's seen as undesirable and then you are not small enough to be feminine anymore. Body acceptance seems to stop once a woman gets too muscular. Body acceptance doesn't always extend to the people who have struggled to lose weight their whole lives and who are just doing their best to get healthy but are too ashamed and intimidated in the gym that they cannot seem to stay consistent. Body acceptance until it comes to someone with a disability. Body acceptance until you get too old. Body acceptance until it comes to embracing women's bodies postpartum. Because if they don't bounce back fast enough, then they can't be a hot mom. That's not body acceptance. The fitness industry profits off of the hatred that you have for your body. It's built around the idea that you can never be good enough and your body's not good enough. Body shaming in general is rampant. For example, not taking someone's advice because they're not big enough or fit enough or lean enough, not listening to a personal trainer or professional because they don't have a body that reflects a lifestyle that is oriented around spending hours and hours of time in the gym and eating clean, listening to people online solely based on the fact that you think they look good and that if you copy what they do, that you will somehow achieve the same, even if it's beyond our socioeconomic and biological means. First and foremost, I think we need to stop associating eating with movement, and both with the sole purpose of changing your body. We need to stop trying to use fear and shame to motivate people, or to have a fear of the uncontrollable, or a fear of change. Exercise and fueling yourself should be about helping you do all the things that you would love to do. Health is not about doing everything in your power to control your body and the way that you look. The fitness industry does not care about you. It is an industry that just wants your money and is about making a profit, and it will take advantage of whatever it can to sell you its products and its services. The fitness industry exploits your insecurities, pushing diets and detoxes and products as solutions to the problems that it creates in the first place. You should hate your body for this, and this reason. Here's how we can change it. Here's how we can fix that for you. It profits off of the hatred that you have for your body. Money makes the world go round. I didn't know that there were legging legs or Pilates arms, or that my hip dips and unsnatched waist and body fat and lack of curves were an issue until social media told me so. There is nothing inherently objectively correct about the desirability of one body type over another. Unless, of course, you are referring to the fact that curves or body fat on a woman may be a sign of fertility, which in that case, it does make sense as an attractive quality, because being healthy enough to carry a child is a beautiful thing. Bodies are not trends, period. There is no such thing as Pilates arms or a stomach that is more fit and appropriate for low-waisted jeans than another. With a focus on aesthetics over functionality and health, the fitness industry tries to sell you the idea that you must look, act, and most importantly, consume in a certain way in order to be fit and in order to actually belong, perpetuating a cycle of consumerism and ultimately dissatisfaction. Because if everybody woke up one day and decided that they were already good enough just as they are, the entire industry would collapse. Models and influencers online are not a good representation of what healthy actually looks like. Instagram spotlights extremes. The lifestyle that is required to maintain a body type that is lean and muscular all the time is an extreme lifestyle. It requires extreme monitoring of your diet and also a lot of time in the gym. And extremes are not healthy. There's no point comparing yourself to someone whose job pays them to look the way that they do. Our models for health are fitness influencers online who make their living off of the way that they look. It's part of their job to look that way. And why are normal people with normal lives and families and obligations, who are not getting free gym memberships, not getting free supplements, comparing themselves to fitness influencers as a standard for health? Why do we think of these people as representations of what healthy looks like when it's not? The biggest faces in the fitness space are not people that can actually represent what is realistic or healthy for the average population. We are holding ourselves to a standard that doesn't even apply to us. It would not make sense for a mom of 4 kids who works a 9-to-5 job to live and look like a fitness influencer who's 20 years old and who doesn't have a normal job. There's also so much we don't see online. What you share on social media is selective. People are highlighting parts of their life that they want to show you. It's all a performance. You get to curate the type of life that you want when presenting it on social media. It's a collection of selected photos. Social media is not real. So many of the people that we praise for their perfect bodies online are struggling or hiding severe eating disorders, take anabolic steroids, or have psychological or other mental health issues. We could all eat and move the exact same and would still look completely different. And because of the representations of health that we choose to spotlight, more and more people are developing issues with their bodies and with food. We're celebrating disordered relationships with food and exercise when people post before and after pictures, when people post what I eat in a day videos, labeling foods as good and bad, associating morality with how you eat and the behaviors that you participate in, obsessing over numbers and micromanaging your life. This normalization of body monitoring and being on constant surveillance of your body is not healthy or normal, masked as healthy living or wellness or discipline. Oh, because their life revolves around numbers and they have a 15-step morning routine that they absolutely cannot deviate from or else their world would fall apart is discipline. That's not discipline, that's inflexibility, that's neurotic. We must take responsibility and look critically at the content and the messages and the advice that we're receiving, as well as our own relationships with our bodies and with exercise and with food. Health and wellness on social media is just a performance. It's like who can be the most convincing when it comes to living a healthy lifestyle. The like aestheticized restrictive behavior and restrictive eating is so weird. When a wellness influencer has to post a video of them taking a bite out of a pastry and enjoying it, like audibly enjoying it, so they can prove, just to show you and demonstrate that like they can be bad too, or that they're balanced and that they don't have disordered habits or whatever. Like who is that for? Is it for you or is it for other people? Because I don't think anyone else cares that you were eating croissant one day. It's like it's about who has the most convincing account of health and who can play the, oh, I'm balanced, I'm perfectly healthy, and I have a good relationship with my body and food. Why can't people just be honest? All of the like new nutritionists that are appearing on social media, holistic nutritionists and all of these certifications, especially online, most of them struggled with disordered eating or had some kind of bad relationship with food, and that's where their interest in nutrition came from. The same with a lot of influencers and some of the biggest people in the fitness space. I think it's really rare to have not had a bad relationship with food or exercise at some point. And another thing is that doesn't really go away. Yes, people can recover from eating disorders and unlearn bad exercise habits and practice much healthier, much more sustainable behaviors. But just because it doesn't look like they're dealing with something doesn't mean that they're not dealing with it. It's very likely that most of the people in the health and wellness space online do really struggle with their relationships with their own bodies, with the pressure to look a certain way all the time, which directly corresponds with their relationship with food and their relationship with exercise. We celebrate adherence to rigid and strict behaviors, which renders disordered habits as more socially acceptable because we view them as healthy, or we call them disciplined. And even more so, we envy these people for having discipline that we think we lack. Wellness, fitness, health, or whatever you call it, is a feeling. It is an experience in the body. It is not a look. Health is not buying only organic, doing red light therapy, putting lemon in your water in the morning, trying the sauna, owning an expensive water bottle, or eating all of your food off of a cutting board and preaching that all vegetables are poison. Wellness is ability. It is ability to move well and to be strong and feel happiness and be resilient. Wellness is probably single-handedly the greatest privilege, to be able to feel and experience well. You can admire people's lives on social media who on the outside look happy and healthy, but you can never tell what their relationships with food or exercise look like, that they obsess over calories or have raging body dysmorphia or psychological stress. We need to stop misreading disordered behavior for dedication. Health and fitness should be an important part of your life, but it's not meant to be a math equation. You are not meant to monitor your every move. Following a certain diet or nutrition protocol is not inherently healthy or unhealthy. It is where the behaviors are coming from and how they affect each person individually that are not equal. I think we socially curate personality types that are inflexible and have normalized a psychological dependency and rigidity around food and exercise that is not healthy at all. We are taught to be way too focused on numbers, whether it's weight or step count or calories or macros or meal timing. At what point does complete control and trying to micromanage every single little aspect of your life become too much? Are you going to look back when you're 80 and go, oh, thank God I didn't go over 150 grams of carbohydrates and eat ice cream for 17 years so I could keep that six-pack and feel awful all the time? We are not meant to track and plan every move and thing down to the gram. And since when have numbers become the only way to measure progress? What about strength and happiness levels and energy? Those are more measures of progress than weight on the scale or your thigh circumference. And we put so much of an emphasis on the way that you look that people are forgetting what health is. Are you interested in having the body that you want or feeling and living well? Those do not always go together. For some people, achieving the body that they want would mean killing themselves in the process to get there. Like, maybe it's time to rethink whether you might be sacrificing some of your humanity to make room for no errors. We need to get better at actually living in our bodies, but instead we have decided to make health a moral issue. Food does not have a moral value. There are definitely foods that are more nutritious than others, and it is no secret that ultra-processed food is harmful for our health, but food is not good and bad? Can we please stop connecting what we eat to our own value? Can we please stop teaching people restrictive behavior and calling it discipline? Can we please stop normalizing and telling women that they need to eat as little as possible and confusing calories with nourishment? You are not a bad person for enjoying a bag of chips, and you are not a failure for not having the quote-unquote discipline or self-control to not have the chocolate, the piece of chocolate that you've been craving. We are exposed to so much nutrition information that tries to convince us to have a fear of food because confusing people is profitable. You are much more likely to engage with a post that is shocking, that scares you, than one that tells you that you should eat vegetables. You need to cut out this food or this food, that seed oils are inflammatory, that the glyphosate in oatmeal is going to kill you, that all of your food is toxic and has chemicals. Oh, ultra-processed foods are linked to all of these chronic diseases and inflammation in your body. Doing this and avoiding this is the only way to go and the only way to go about it, or else you're gonna die. That is the message that people are sending you. That is the message that people who actually have medical degrees are telling you because they know it's profitable, because because they want a following and they want people to listen to them, and scaring you they think is a strategy. But scaring people does not empower them to take control of their health. Constantly invited and encouraged to choose extremes and try diets that are unsustainable and unhealthy and cut out food groups and starve ourselves or whatever, eventually just results in an unhealthy relationship with food or binge restrict cycles or other forms of disordered eating. There is nothing healthy about having an unhealthy relationship with food. And instead, we could teach people why they should be making the nutrition choices they're making, why some foods will actually make them feel better than others. Food has more to offer than calories, and food plays more of a role in your body than the way that you look and your weight. Cutting things out completely is unnecessary. Your body is smart. Your body reacts to what you put into it and tells you when it's hungry, tells you when it's satiated, when it's full, and when it needs more. Why are we not teaching people how to listen to their bodies and how to get in tune with themselves? It's always just, oh, you need to eliminate processed foods because they will kill you and because they're bad. Or you need to be eating more vegetables because it's healthy. Because it's healthy. Why is it healthy? Why aren't we teaching people that the reason that you eat this way is because it'll make you feel better? It's not because it's going to kill you. Personally, I'm not trying to avoid death. I'm not trying to prevent death. I'm just trying to feel better in my body right now. And I'm also trying to feel better in my body and feel good in my body for as long as I can. Why are we associating what we eat with death like that? It's just another strategy. It's about taking advantage of people's fear of what's uncontrollable. And death and disease are matters that are largely uncontrollable or that everyone fears in some kind of way. Framing it as the one thing that we need to avoid at all costs is just one strategy that people are using to try to get you to have more autonomy with your health and care about it a little bit more, but it's just not the right strategy. I don't know why we're not trying to encourage people to take care of their health as an act of self-compassion and self-respect. With the continuous and aggressive exposure to mainstream health narratives on social media that preach clean eating and demonize certain foods, the cumulative effect of these posts, reinforced by the feedback loops that they affirm, is the glorification of restrictive eating patterns and the discipline required to maintain them. We as a society have dramatically individualized health in the sense that it has now become a matter of moral responsibility, that we are fully responsible for our health and frame an inability to keep up with it as failure or unworthiness. There is no nuance, no awareness, no acknowledgement of privilege in the fitness space online. Even health experts and medical professionals are taking advantage of your health insecurity and your fear of dying. Not only are they profiting off of your body hatred, but also your fear of the wildly uncontrollable. If shaming you and your body is not enough, then fear-mongering strategies from doctors and experts online who claim that certain foods will kill you exacerbate the pressures even more. Oh, I love this trend that has been going on for a while, where people on social media, they it's like a video where they say, oh, the caption is, oh, you're so lucky to look like that, implying that other people have told them that, or you're so lucky to have that body. And then it kind of pans to a collection of videos of them eating really healthy food and spending hours in the gym. That's the luck, trying to say that they worked really, really hard for their bodies. And I'm not trying to discredit anybody. Building muscle takes a lot of time. Changing your physique definitely requires intention and time, but it is a privilege. That is your luck. And I think it's like, oh, it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing that people are not more aware of that, I guess. I'll be the first to say that, yeah, I am extremely lucky. I am so lucky. I have the body that I have because of my luck, because I have a gym. I have access to a gym. I live in a safe place. I have access to healthy food that is walking distance from me. I can walk to several grocery stores and get healthy food that is fresh, that is good for me, that is clean, and I have enough money to be able to pay for it. And I have enough time to spend a lot of time in the gym. I spend a lot of the time in the gym because I enjoy it and because I have the time to do so, but that's not realistic for everybody. That is because I am lucky. I am lucky. I also fully acknowledge the fact that I'm also lucky, and I probably have the following on social media that I have because of the way that I look, which I think is super sad, because beyond that, I do believe that I have a message and I do my best to communicate that, but we are so appearance focused, and social media just invites this comparison culture all the time. So I know that even though I am straight up saying, do not copy what I eat, even if we exercised and ate the exact same, we would not look the same. I know that people hear me say that and tell them that things are not true and don't process the information at all, right? Or don't care. I know that if I post what I eat in a day and I'm saying, do not copy what I eat, do not try to copy my movement, people will do it anyways, because for some reason they can't disconnect the idea that somehow, like, maybe if they try to recreate my life, that will look the same, or that my behaviors are somehow more desirable or better than theirs, that their health journey isn't working out for them because they're doing something wrong. That's just not the case. Even like people who are trying to sell you a workout program or their workout routine, like, I love the videos that are like, this is the glute routine, or like the only, like the best workout routine for your legs, whatever. It is not about that. Like, I've built muscle, but it's not about the exercises that I did or the specific routine. It's more so about how I performed the exercise, and even more about the nutrition behind it. It's about the effort that I put into each exercise and how I perform the exercise, not necessarily the exercises that I chose, because they're not special. If it targets a muscle group, then it targets the muscle group, and preferences vary. And I think certain things work better for some people than others. So it just doesn't make any sense. People and influencers online, they look the way that they do and they have the lifestyles they have because they have enough money to live that way. It is a privilege. It is a demonstration and a manifestation of their wealth and privilege. Why don't we talk about that? Have you ever thought to question the people that we place on top of this like social hierarchy and success hierarchy? I mean, obviously when it comes to everything, but like even in fitness, in case you've never thought about it before, we continue to privilege, like, everyone looks the same online. We continue to privilege white, thin, lean, probably straight, wealthy bodies. Those are the people who are in the center of the fitness space. They do not represent the majority. Even the food that we perceive as healthy does not include ethnic cultural interpretations. Yes, there's what they're calling an obesity epidemic in the United States because jobs are getting more sedentary and there's been an increase in the consumption of high calorie, hyper palatable convenience foods. But obesity and health issues disproportionately affect people of color. And that is not a coincidence, nor is it an accident. People just have different access to different resources, and some people just don't have that. So telling people that like their poor health is due to a lack of discipline is evil. Health is a privilege. Not everybody has access to a gym or a personal trainer or fresh, organic, healthy food. Not everyone has a job that affords them the time to participate in health behaviors or work out every day. Not everyone has people have families. People are struggling with mental health issues. People are living with disabilities, and not everyone lives in a neighborhood that is safe enough to go on a hot girl walk at night to get your steps in. Not everyone is privileged enough or lucky enough to be in a supportive and loving environment that is body positive or emotionally safe. Not everybody can walk into a gym and feel accepted. Not everyone has access to the resources and education to learn about how to take care of their health or to know better. So framing like unhealth as a lack of discipline, shaming people, and sending people the message that they cannot be fit and healthy because they are not dedicated enough and they just don't want it bad enough and because they're not driven enough is absolutely malicious. We're completely disregarding the disparity of resources that people are afforded. We don't talk about that at all. It just doesn't exist. Like, it doesn't exist in the fitness space, in my experience, right? All the people I follow online, all of these things are so normal and taken for granted. The fact that they have access to all these resources and education. So then, yeah, like it's easy for those people to say, oh, well, like, you just don't want it bad enough because I actually put all the work in to get there, and it was really, really hard for me to eat chicken and broccoli instead of a cookie. You just lack the discipline to not eat that cookie, and that is your problem. Like, yes, a lot of people lack discipline, and most people have trouble staying consistent. Yes, that is an issue. If you want to achieve your goals, consistency is the most important thing. But my main point is that we are not teaching people how to get there. We're not teaching people how to learn. And we are also ultimately sending really, really harmful messages that are essentialistic, that lack nuance, that are not inclusive. And I do think it's so embarrassing that, like, someone who is thin and white and wealthy is screaming on social media about how they need to get the fuck up in the morning and go on their hot girl walk and suffer through cardio each day. Like, it's hard. I get it. It is hard for some people, but like, I don't know, just be more self-aware. I'm sorry, but you are lucky. You are lucky. And I know that you mean well and you want to encourage people to get healthier and stuff, but you need to be careful about how you're doing that. Are you telling them that they need to like get themselves in order because they're fat and ugly? That's horrible. Or that they're just not working hard enough, that they don't have the butt that they want and they're not lean enough because they're just like not disciplined enough as you are. But you are saying that from a place of privilege, and you are saying that like everyone else's lifestyle can apply to yours, and that it's appropriate to compare your life to theirs. Like, people don't have different circumstances, like people don't have different time on their hands. It depends on like what job you have, or if you're in school, or if you have a family, or if you have obligations, or even if you are struggling with a mental health issue, it's going to be more difficult for you to pursue and complete a behavior than somebody else. Sorry, I'm upset. We need to stop sending people the message that they are pathetic and worthless for not working hard enough to be fit and healthy. We have built our entire world around a system that completely externalizes our value, and now people are doing things just for the purpose of getting validation from others and for the affirmation that, okay, like, you are doing the right thing and you could be accepted. The entire system and the cloud of values that we hold harms everybody involved. Even if you've achieved the goal or the reach the body standard or your ideal physique or whatever, now you must struggle and wrestle with the ability to maintain it, because God forbid what's going to happen when things inevitably change. Now, if you have the means and the privilege to participate, health is a demonstration that you care about yourself and that you have respect for your body. 100%. But we just cannot forget about everyone that lies in the in-between and in the on their way and in the trying to get there. We still need to celebrate and encourage and support the people that are just doing their best. We need to collectively build each other up and support those and light a fire of self-love to drive action further rather than teach people to be disgusted with themselves. Where is the empowerment? Instead, the entire industry and fitness community centers itself around feelings of shame and worthiness or unworthiness. Now our value as a human being is connected to how healthy we are able to eat or how disciplined we can be when it comes to movement routines and tracking our steps and tracking our food and, you know, like making sure we get exactly this many hours of sleep every single night. I don't know. Everyone now just wants permission to feel secure and feel good in their own skin. Because we have robbed everybody of that. We have robbed everybody of their ability to feel good about themselves. Because no matter what, they are not doing enough. You are not trying hard enough. And if you are not actively working on yourself like a self-help project all the time, then you are lazy and undedicated and pathetic and worthless and just why are we treating everybody like a self-help project? Why does that have to be everyone's goals? Like, if you're not actively working on yourself all the time and trying to be better and doing the 75 hard or trying all these like fitness challenges and, you know, like actively challenging yourself, then you are a worthless human being. I just have the problem with the people that are sending these messages as well. Because of the lack of regulation on social media, anybody can say anything they want to say, and they can post and share information about anything. They don't need to have the credentials. It doesn't need to be accurate. And so long as people can't discern fact from myth, then it doesn't really matter. And then even in that case, like, as long as they're saying something that like absurd enough to garner attention, then it's still okay. People can pretty much share anything they want without backing it up with actual evidence or significant experience. Now, anybody can become a personal trainer. Anybody can sell coaching programs or become online coaches with no experience training clients in person, or offer a meal plan and write you a meal plan that they don't have the credentials to give or even the education. You can get certified for anything online. It's incredibly easy. There's no barrier to entry in the fitness space whatsoever. Just because you lost 50 pounds does not mean you're the right person to tell somebody else how to do it. Just because you have had a successful fitness journey does not mean you are the person to teach other people how to do it. Anybody can achieve a fitness goal, and anybody can understand a calorie deficit. You're not an anomaly. You didn't come up with that. The way that they sell themselves and they sell their programs, saying that their program is the best and that they achieve this results and that their program specifically is going to be the most effective, it's absolute bullshit. Oh my god. Like, the videos, they're like, oh, comment like if you want me to sell you my PDF guide, or comment primal if you want me to send you my nutrition plan, or give you all my secrets. Like, they market themselves like they have secrets, when in reality, health is relatively simple, and how it works, how to lose and gain weight and build muscle, and this is objective, but like the best nutrition protocol, it's simple, and simple doesn't sell. It's all about like what's the most profitable. This leads to a lot of misinformation that people ultimately do not know how to identify. Just because something worked for somebody else does not mean it's going to work for you. Just because that girl is thin and pretty and wealthy and has the body that you want does not mean that if you copy her diet and copy her movement, that your body is magically going to transform into hers. There are often so many ways to achieve the same results in fitness, but those results are going to look different on everybody because every body is unique in that way. And fitness and health protocol should be individualized to fit your lifestyle specifically and your preferences, so they can be sustainable and maintainable. But even then, it's not complicated. Influencers online try to confuse you, try to tell you that everything is super hard and that they have all of the secrets to make it easier so that they can sell you their cookie cutter programs or a PDF guide filled with information that should already be free. And already is free. I don't know what makes you think that someone who has never met you before, who has never seen your body move, is going to be able to design the best program for you. It's all about like trying to gatekeep and trying to make things secret and just strategies to make you feel like you're just not doing enough or that you're missing the piece of the puzzle somehow. Now, so many of us operate around the notion that we are not and can never be good enough, but that we still must kill ourselves in the process of trying to get there. We spend our entire lives being told that we are not enough, that we but you're not disciplined enough, not smart enough, not tall enough, not big enough, not small enough, not unique enough, not the same enough. And what you say, act, and do in response to these beliefs affects everybody around you. Your insecurity and lack of self-worth are not a secret, and you are teaching your children and your friends and your family to perceive you in the way that you see yourself, as well as look at themselves in the same way. Language is powerful, and we need to be careful about how we choose our words and change the rhetoric. Tossing around messages about sculpting and toning and getting shredded for summer, or the idea that you need to burn off your food or burn off your calories or earn your meal is harmful. You don't need to get a bikini body for summer. Every body in a bikini is already a bikini body. I know that you like hear that and you're like, oh, she's just saying that, like that's just a no. Like think about, like just let that sink in. Why do you must always be in the pursuit of everything but what you already are? Also, like on top of the body pressure and the pressure to look a certain way, and the fact that we have idealized this body image and that there's body trends, the gender disparity is also so real. I know I haven't been around that long and that there are a lot more women lifting weights than there were probably 10 years ago, but the fact that I can still find myself to be the only woman in my big gym and more often the only woman in the free weights section is crazy to me. And I don't know, like just kind of puts a hole in my heart because I was there and it took me like a year and a half, which a lot of people deal with a lot more, but it took me a long time to feel comfortable in the weight section. And for so long, I didn't even know that I could lift like 10 pounds, like more than 10 pounds. I didn't know that I was allowed to grab weights that were heavier than that. I'm lifting 4 times as much as I was when I first started lifting weights. And imagine how like strong everybody would be, how much progress women would be making if we were encouraging them to get strong and telling them that you can lift so much more weight than that. Like I didn't even know that I could lift more weight than I was lifting because I had never tried before. My main point is I get it. I get why women find the gym so intimidating and why it's still very overrepresented by men and men still take over the fitness space. Like I completely understand why the gym might be intimidating. I didn't know a single girl at my high school that thought lifting weights was cool or that did lift weights. I started after I graduated high school, a little bit in the end of my senior year, but I was mostly doing cardio because that's what I thought I was supposed to be doing. I thought that was like where I belonged. That's like the equivalent, like women belong in the kitchen, but in the gym, they belong in the cardio machines. I didn't know a single girl in high school that thought lifting weights was cool, but I knew dozens that had issues with their bodies, that always thought they were too fat or too chubby or too tall or too flat-chested, and who would talk about not eating like it was a flex, or who would skip meals, or who would not eat for a day, or who would make themselves throw up out of guilt or shame. Reproducing the power of these messages through their enactments of their feeling of undesirability. Shame about themselves and shame about belonging to the body that they carried with them. And it wasn't just a problem with their bodies, it was also being too nice or too loud or too bitchy or too anything. And relationships also like revolved around the idea that you need to be desired by somebody, that was the goal, to be desired, to be wanted, to be valued by another person. I'm making this connection with like the fitness space because it's all revolves around external validation. Like you cannot feel good about yourself until someone else tells you that you can, until someone else grants you the permission to feel good. Like it was some sort of privilege to be chosen by a shitty guy that probably had no redeemable qualities anyways, besides the fact that he could roll a joint with a gum wrapper or dish out a compliment or a demeaning comment every once in a while to maybe like tease a little bit of love or toxicity, keep it alive. Like I wish I could say that I knew more women who loved themselves audaciously, who truly felt confident and secure in their own skin and loved their bodies for the way that it is now. I wish I could say that I knew more women who loved their bodies for what it could do for them instead of what it looked like, who didn't feel like they needed to be validated externally and feel valued by others in order to value themselves. I wish I hadn't watched my own mom tear herself down and unconsciously, unintentionally teach me how to do the same. Your body is not against you. Your body is not a trend. Your body is an ally. The idea that I'll be good enough when, I will finally like myself when, I will be worthy of love when, these expectations only exist insofar as we continue to pursue them and reinforce the barriers that prevent us from unconditional self-love. You are holding yourself to a standard and measuring yourself like up against a measuring stick that was already uneven to begin with, because we all start from different places and we are all unique and special in our own ways, and we need to learn how to embrace that and love the uniqueness instead of constantly comparing ourselves to other people. You are holding yourself to a standard that doesn't exist, that was fundamentally designed to keep you feeling like you could never be good enough as you are, inviting you to self-sabotage since you are never going to be able to reach your full potential or achieve everything that you deserve if you don't truly believe that you can do so. You do not become happy and healthy on accident. You do it on purpose. So do more things on purpose and take back your control. Take back the power that you give to other people to validate you, to tell you that you are doing everything okay. The social expectations and standards that we hold ourselves to are there to give you something that you are already born with and you already have, which is value. It is a birthright to feel worthy and confident in your body. I am so sick of feeling like I'm supposed to search for all the things that are wrong with myself and tear myself apart to find my flaws. Can I not feel good about myself right now? You do not need to earn your confidence or prove yourself to anybody. It is not something that is anybody else's to give or to be knighted upon you by others. We are all so caught up in trying to meet the standards and be liked by others that I think we forget to actually like ourselves. Do you even like the people that you are seeking validation from? Why do you even care? Do you know what happens when you stop engaging in the content and recycling the messages that don't serve you? They disappear, they go away, they don't exist anymore. Stop giving other people the power to determine how you get to feel about yourself. And please don't let social media trends determine how you get to feel about your body. Trends are always changing. The trends also change according to what's serving the fitness industry. A few years ago, like when I was in, like the beginning of high school or like middle school, we kind of like valued the like beauty ideal was like really, really thin models. I personally didn't have any body issues when I was in like middle school because I wasn't really aware of my body. I was honestly so lucky to say that I was just interested in living my life and having fun. But then when I got to high school and all of the girls that I spent time with were talking about the way that they looked all the time and our bodies were changing, and all of a sudden like what we ate also had an effect on how, like, on the way that we looked, I guess. All of a sudden I became much more aware of my body, but beauty standards changed. What was like a few years ago, it was maybe like stick thin models too, and then there was like a Kylie Jenner trend where having really, really unrealistic curves was the body type, so people all of a sudden started getting surgery to change their bodies, and all fitness pursuits were about getting a big butt and getting a slim waist and snatching your waist, hence the like hourglass workout trends and the hourglass routines and hourglass exercises, which, I mean, it is not a lie that muscle looks good. Muscle looks good. But what is there left for women if we are not chasing leanness and losing weight? What is left if we are not putting on muscle just to get bigger butts or to be more toned? Being toned isn't a thing. Okay, we debunked the toned thing, but now it's still like, you should lift weights, but like don't get muscular and like don't do too much upper body and don't lift too heavy, because if you get too big, then what? Oh no, you're strong and empowered and you feel confident and you like yourself. If you like yourself, like, what are we gonna sell you now? Why can't fitness goals be about feeling good and functionality and being strong? Why don't we sell women the idea of being strong? Why don't we encourage strength, and why don't we encourage ability? I don't get it. Like, everything that has to do with exercise that is targeted and marketed towards women is about changing the way they look, and it's about getting a smaller waist or getting a bigger butt or building their legs but not building their upper body, and it's horrible. You don't have to like pursue this ideal body type that we made up to begin with. Beauty is objective. What you find beautiful, someone else might not find beautiful. Can you just focus on liking yourself? Focus on what makes you feel good. Personally, I feel a lot better in my body. I feel much more feminine when I have more body fat on my body. I, like everyone else, have been so insecure at times, but I feel the best about myself when I feel strong and when I feel capable. That is when I feel the best about my body. It's about what I can do in it. Not only is worth a birthright, but so is vitality. So is your health. Your health is a birthright. So although you've been robbed of your agency and your entitlement to your health, it is now more important than ever to kind of shuffle through all the fitness chaos and the messages that are telling you to exercise because you hate your body. Nutrition and exercise protocols for health and fitness, and even like your physique goals, are all relatively simple, but the problem is simple doesn't sell. Simple isn't profitable. People don't want to be told that the most important things and the best way to achieve the results they want is by getting good sleep and focusing on eating whole foods and cooking more and getting in the gym 3 times a week, but not overdoing it. You don't need to overdo it. And less is often so much more, especially when it comes to people who are interested in health and fitness. Like those with like the neurotic desire to self-improve all the time tend to overdo it and tend to exercise too much or become too rigid and inflexible and perfectionistic about their eating and exercise regimens and routines. I catch myself kind of comparing myself to influencers and people online often because I think they look really good and I like them and they seem cool, and then they're showing you like, oh, they got up at 5 a.m. so they could walk 10,000 steps before class, and oh, they have this like really rigid exercise routine. And oh, even though they absolutely felt terrible and they're on their period and they had a headache and they slept 3 hours and they didn't eat that day, that they still need to do their hour long of cardio because of discipline, because you have to do hard things in order to reach the goals that you want, which is true. Yes, just because it's simple does not mean that it's easy. It's not. Reaching your fitness goals, being healthy, like practicing in health behaviors, it's simple, but it's not easy. Yes, you have to be consistent with it. And yes, like there is some sort of like resilience and dedication that is required to continue like pursue these goals and carry them out properly. But we romanticize this like self-deprecating and self-hatred kind of thing, or like the idea that exercise is a punishment in some way, and completely ignore the importance of listening to our bodies and resting and prioritizing a balance and figuring out what's sustainable. Personally, if I didn't sleep and if I feel terrible and if I didn't eat, I'm going to skip my workout that day. Not because I'm undisciplined or lazy, but because I feel like shit and my body is not ready, and I'm not doing myself any favors by forcing myself to work out and getting myself into a gym when I don't want to be there and when I don't feel like it and my body's not ready for it. I'm trying to have a relationship with fitness and enjoy exercise, and I don't think that's worth it. I'm not trying to practice behaviors that are going to ultimately end up with me feeling burnt out or have some kind of hatred for moving my body. I don't know, like that's not my vibe, and I get it. Like I get that some people kind of want to be yelled at and told that they're not trying hard enough in order to get in the gym or whatever, but I mean, that's just because we lack empowerment and we aren't telling each other that they deserve to feel good. We are telling people that they need to do this, they need to be interested in health because they are not good enough already, and that they are lacking in discipline, and then like they're not good enough as people because they're not doing this thing, when we really need to be telling people that you deserve health. You deserve to feel good in your own skin. You deserve to feel worthy and valuable and love your body and love the way that you feel in it. That it is a birthright. And although we might need to learn how to do that and adapt because everything else in the world kind of seems to negatively affect us, it's more about a pushback. It's about a pushback on everything else in the world that is affecting you negatively and that is weighing you down. Trying to figure out how to use social media in a different way and consume less, needing to be attentive to your diet because we have so many options that actually do us harm, because a lot of the convenient options actually make us feel really awful and negatively affect our health. The fact that we sit at desks all day because all jobs are sedentary, like everything is not really working in your favor. So yes, you might have to learn how to kind of fight back, but it's easy. No. It's simple, it's not easy, but you deserve it, and it is worth it. Everyone online who is trying to sell you the idea that their diet or program is the best one out there or the best approach is so full of shit. It should be completely individualized, and the best routine is the one that you can stick to. It's the one that's going to be sustainable. If that means you could only get into the gym twice a week and you're going to start cooking more meals at home, but you cannot seem to kick a once a week or occasional drive-by Burger King, that is fine. That is so fine. That is more than fine, and you are doing awesome. Okay? It is not going to kill you. It is not all or nothing. You are not a failure. It doesn't have to be all or nothing, especially not right away, especially if you're new and you're just starting your health journey. You do not need to do the 75 fucking hard, which is so awful and promotes over-exercising and restrictive behavior, and it's like a stupid challenge. Sorry. A little bit is so much better than nothing at all. It's also not necessary to go to the gym 6 days a week. It is not necessary to eat only clean foods or cut out any foods. Your exercise routine should be enjoyable. You should be enjoying the food that you're eating and don't need to deprive yourself of anything in order to be healthy and reach your fitness goals. That's just not how it works. And I know that you are receiving so many messages that tell you you need to do so, but that's because people just want your money. So basically, yeah, you are wasting your time yo-yo dieting and using the gym as a punishment yourself. If you are using the gym as a punishment or because you hate your body, then you are never going to like it and you're never going to be consistent with it. You cannot hate your body into one that you love. You need to learn how to love it, and I think you also need to learn how to love your body and yourself and accept yourself prior to participating in health behaviors, because achieving your dream body is not going to make you happy. It might even make you feel worse, because if you are orienting and centering your entire life around getting there, then you are not ever going to feel good. But I mean, it's okay if you didn't know that you don't actually need to cut out carbs or try juice cleanses or that detoxing isn't real. That's fine. You know better now. You don't need to do that. Your body actually naturally detoxes itself, and you can also find all of the information you need from scientifically backed articles. Yes, you need vegetables. Yes, protein is important. Yes, carbs and fats are also important. The carnivore diet and whatever else, all of like the weight loss hacks and tricks are not necessary. The best diet is the one that makes your body feel good and is the sustainable one. That is how we should orient our health practices. What makes you feel the best? All of the health behaviors that people show you, like eating healthy and exercising and drinking your water and getting enough sleep, will make you feel better. It's about making you feel better. But we put too much of our focus on doing these behaviors in order to look better. But you will look better. If you are healthier, you will look better. That's kind of just like, that comes with the package. That's a result. You don't need to be pursuing that specifically. Like if you are just trying to look as good as you possibly can, that's not health. Those things are very different. Why are we not teaching people that what they eat affects the way that they feel? And that you should eat the foods that make your body feel good and not eat the foods that make your body feel bad. It is not necessary to cut out or eliminate or avoid any food groups unless you have an actual allergy or intolerance. You don't need to try any funny diets. The only reason that diet helped them lose weight, or intermittent fasting helped them lose weight, or cutting out carbs helped them lose weight was because they were in a calorie deficit, which can be achieved through calorie restriction and exercise. No diet is magic. No exercise routine is magic. The biohacking trends too. The only biohacking you need to feel good and feel healthy is fuel your body with minimally processed, nutrient-dense whole foods as often as you can. Limit your alcohol intake and cook your food more often. Make choices about food that make you feel good. It doesn't need to be restrictive, and it doesn't need to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be in all the time. It doesn't have to be 100% of the time, most of the time. And I think once you also start prioritizing whole foods, if you're very used to eating a very highly processed diet, I think it might affect your mood. Like it'll change the way that you feel and you'll feel better. You're going to start to actually like eating those foods if you do it more often. Move your body daily in ways that you enjoy. Walk more. Walk daily. Even if that means like park your car a little bit farther away from the grocery store, You don't have to get 10,000 steps. It's not like a magic number or anything. You don't need to track your steps, but walking is so good for your body, and just moving more in general is so important. But do that in any way that you want to do that. So, and then on top of that, do another type of exercise regularly that challenges you, preferably resistance training and lifting weights, just because of how good that is for your body and how important it is for you to have muscle mass especially as you age. Also recommended is like 2 days of like high intensity cardio a week for your cardiovascular health. I don't do that because I don't like doing that, but like it's recommended to strength train and mix of high intensity and low intensity of cardio for your health. But then again, like if you hate weightlifting, but you love playing tennis or you love volleyball, that is so fantastic and you should do that. The only way something is going to be sustainable is if you actually enjoy what you're doing. So find the stuff that you love to do and do it more often and stick with that. It is okay if you would prefer to go for a swim than go for a run. All movement is good movement. Prioritize moving your body more and you'll feel better. Sleep. It's recommended that you get sleep needs vary from person to person, but it's recommended that you get 7 to 8 hours a night. Not just sleep 7 to 8 hours or be in bed for 8 hours, but quality sleep usually means lights are off, no light exposure, uninterrupted sleep. I know that sounds easy and that doesn't really matter, but it really does make the biggest difference when it comes to your mood and your energy levels and even your cravings and just your ability to perform your workouts and daily activities well. And then on top of sleep is rest and managing stress, not just physical rest, but also mental and emotional rest, doing things that put your mind at ease and give you a break and kind of let you breathe a little bit, give you some breathing room, doing the things that you enjoy, do the things that rest your mind, and spend time with people you love, and hug more people. And then going off of that and set boundaries and connecting with others and nurturing meaningful relationships. Social connection, it might be even more important for your health than physical activity. Don't let your healthy lifestyle rob you of genuine connection with people and experiencing love and having a social life. It's not worth it. Your discipline and needing to make sure you hit 10,000 steps and hit your macros perfectly, it's not worth missing out on your life, in my opinion. Connect with people, talk with people, and do things that are fun and experience more. I have a radical fucking idea. What if we all just did things for ourselves out of compassion like we would for others? When you are younger, your body size and the way that you look doesn't really matter, because when you feel proud and happy with yourself, it's because of something that you did or the kind of person that you were. Be the person that you would be proud of, and be the person that you want to become. Something completely changes when you start viewing exercise as a form of self-care and empowerment instead of a tool to change your body. Constantly scrutinizing my body and pushing myself to work out excessively and obsessing over my diet only made me feel awful. It took me a little too long to realize that true strength and beauty comes from within. Your body doesn't have anything to do with the kind of person that you are. Personally, I would rather be a good person, be known for being a good person, than for having a nice body. Loving yourself is a radical act in a society that is obsessed with appearance, perfectionism, and productivity. And many of us struggle with feelings of inadequacy because of the messages that we have internalized throughout our whole lives. But the truth is, you deserve to feel good about yourself. You deserve to feel good in your body and feel good in your own skin. Holistic well-being and self-love is about unlearning and relearning the toxic beliefs and replacing them with self-compassion and self-love and self-acceptance, and not acceptance in the I'm unchangeable or hopeless kind of way, because that implies some kind of complacency rather than movement, but in a I embrace who I am and I appreciate my body and what it can do for me kind of way, and I will do what I can and respect it enough to take care of it. Acceptance in a I will do what I can and I accept my body and I respect it enough to take care of it. And I respect myself enough to know that I am deserving of good health and I deserve to feel good about myself. We internalize so many messages that tell us our bodies need to look a certain way in order to have value. And we are socially conditioned to believe that we can never be good enough as we are, and that our bodies are not good enough, and that our bodies cannot change. We are conditioned to believe that we are supposed to fear change and fear body change, when change is good. and change is important, and it's going to happen regardless of whether you want it to or not. So changing the way that you relate to your body is important because your body is going to change, and you are going to have to figure out how to deal with that and face that no matter what. I have been talking for so long and I don't really know what I even talked about because words just kind of came out of me. I just wanted to say thank you so much. I don't really know how to end this video. I kind of just had a lot that I wanted to say and I needed to get it off my chest, and I kind of just wanted to put out there, and this is what came out of it. Thank you so much if you stayed till the end and listened to me ramble this whole time. You are wonderful and you are deserving of love, and you should go fuel your body and move it in a way that you enjoy today and get some sunlight and tell someone you love them. And I'm gonna go now. Thank you for being here. Bye.